Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video we are going to be talking about one hefty mother chunker that goes by the name of Colossus. So I'm going to go on a limb here and I'm going to make a pretty bold claim right now that I definitely know for a fact quite few of you are going to disagree, because especially when it comes to the Mutant champions, people seem to be more divided than ever. And I'm just going to go flat out and say that Colossus, in my personal opinion, currently is by far the best Mutant champion in the game. Yes, I know that's a very, very big claim to state, and ever since Colossus rework, I liked him. I like him a lot, and I started using him more not too long after. I took him to rank 5, and he has pretty much never disappointed me, to the point where currently I am doing itemless as 6.4 exploration, and Colossus in fact is one of my go-to champions in many different situations, and he provides answers, and that's the reason. He provides answers through brute force, because when synergized up, his damage is so insane that he can simply overcome a multitude of bad matchups or tricky fights. As an example of that, for instance, I had that chaos inverted control path, which I was struggling for like an entire stream and a half. And then I switched my team up, I brought Colossus along, and I pretty much got it done on my second try. Just not a matter of fact that he had the perfect utility answers to ignore reverse controls or whatever. No, what got me through that fight was how quickly and effortlessly he was able to finish out the fights, in addition to the fact of how tanky he was even when I made mistakes. And that is one of the bigger reasons why I think he's so insane, because he's an absolute tank. All that armor basically means he hardly feels any pain even from those stacked up opponents unless they crit. But hey, there is a trick. Colossus has pretty much the only switch up opponent crit button in the game via his special 3, so you can utilize that if you want. Additionally, he has insanely increased power gain with Frost synergy, and obviously savage damage output with Omega Red synergy. Now strip the synergies away, and he's still hard-hitting champion, great immunities, great amount of utility, still able to shut off opponents' crits, still able to hit insanely hard, but will require a longer kind of like ramp up, but still is Incinerate immune, still is Cold Snap immune, still is Bleed immune to armor breaks by non-tech champions, has armor up buffs, has plenty of them, and yeah, he does a lot of things that are needed currently in endgame content. And that is where I personally arrived. And then the more I started comparing Colossus with other kind of like top tier mutants, for instance, I know many people will claim Omega, and Omega was previously the champion I said was the best mutant overall in game. But again, Omega got really nothing on Colossus in majority of the situations as far as I'm concerned. The only thing that Omega has more is the poison immunity. But to put it like that, for instance, Omega also quite heavily relies on having Sabertooth synergy with you. However, the difference is that Sabertooth is not as great of a champion as, for instance, Omega is and Emma Frost is, which are part of Colossus' synergy team. So not only Colossus is an absolute powerhouse, to power up to Super Saiyan levels, basically, he requires you to bring in 2 excellent champions instead of something that's relatively mediocre or occasionally useful. Again, we can take comparison with Domino. Domino also dominates in her synergy team. So if you bring in a full trinity with Domino, which is Massacre and Red Hulk, then Domino performs at her best, and that is how majority of the people use Domino in your day-to-day situations. But once again, in my mind, Omega Red and Emma Frost are far superior champions to Red Hulk and Massacre, even though those two are also great champions. And all of that being said, I'm going to showcase a little bit of gameplay right now, so I'm going to do it live. So let me switch on to my other scene. And currently we are in Act 6, I believe 6.2, and we're going to do a lane that Colossus, for instance, shouldn't be too great at. Has tunnel vision, has crit me with your best shot, and has critical setup. Critical setup basically ensures if you finish a combo with the same hit you finished your previous combo with, you can crit. So this is a node that typically people kind of reserve to Coruses, Ghosts, so on and so forth, but definitely wouldn't think that an average champion or a champion with a relatively low critical rate like Colossus will be great at. Well, here is the real deal. If he crits for an insanely large amount. Also, due to your playstyle, you end up what you end up doing gaining a lot of power very quickly, basically, because when you are able to land the parries, right? And so let's go. I did not even charge the Fury up, but the hit that crit does crit quite a bit, but that is not even the main point. The main point is the fact that we're getting more and more Furies. So at this point, when 16 armor ups are there, I'm already, without suicides, easily kind of critting for, what is it, 11k, 9k here. Let me get to my next special attack. Okay, let's go. Hopefully we can get some crits here. Well, none of them crit this time, but fair enough. We're gonna get to next special 2 with a combo or 2 because of that Emma Frost energy. He's that quickly gaining power. So I landed 2 3-hit combos and I'm basically at my level 2 once again. Now let's go for another crit. So even he doesn't crit often, he crits for such large amounts without any external kind of like help outside of his basic synergy team that makes him a great option for these fights. And that is kind of like the value of Colossus, because he's able to overpower opponents so swiftly, so quickly, that he's one of those champions how people like to characterize Colossus, for instance. Oh, you don't need all that much utility when you have that kind of like insane damage. Well, here is a trick. Colossus has insane amount of damage and a ton of utility. So that, in my opinion, makes him the best mutant. You can see, so only critical hits deal damage in this matchup. So vast majority of our hits don't even technically really count. Still, at the same time, we're not really slugging these fights out, are we? So I have 8 armor ups. I'm just gonna land my level 2. That was nice 20k crit, and that's not even like the big crit. And very easily we can see that he gets ramped up super quickly thanks to massively increased armor ups. Massively increased power gain with Emma Frost energy, and his attack is obviously going up insanely high thanks to that as well. Let's try and see if heavy can crit. Unfortunately it didn't. It's not a big deal. And let's try and get 2 crits here. Not bad. 224 crits. And again, that's a fraction of Colossus's damage output. And that increased power gain just makes it too beautiful, too brutal. $23 armor ups, come on, 1 crit, that's nice, 63k. It's a casual 63k crit there. And here is 16 medium crit. So when you ramp up Colossus in a massive fight, such as, I don't know, Labyrinth of Legends, and this is also an announcement, I will be making stream of Abyss of Legends using Colossus because I'm very, very confident in his abilities and because I'm very eager to try. So I will, towards end of the month, be doing a run with Colossus in Abyss of Legends. But to kind of like showcase, I guess, where else could we bring him in for a very quick but long fight? Well, I guess I'll leave it because I already have done a Colossus review video. But yeah, so last kind of like few closing things here. So we can clearly see that Colossus has a crazy amount of damage And again, keep in mind, this was showcased in a fight where he's supposed to be kind of bad at, where he's supposed to be dealing fraction of his damage and taking forever. But no, he still finished those fights out faster than most champions finish fights in Act 6 with full available damage output. And yeah, so once again, I do personally believe that currently Colossus is the best mutant champion. He's semi-compatible with suicides, he's great with or without them, that's perfect. And he has got everything going for him. And I still think that the biggest problem Colossus has today is the image of him just being god-awful for so many years in this game. If he would be released today as a new champion, if he would be given exclusively to CCP members, everybody would say he's like insane god tier, the best champion in game, crazy damage potential. But because he got this much more cautious approach by being a reworked champion and us kind of trying to figure out whether it's a good or bad rework, I think majority of the people just kind of sleeping on the dogma that yes, he's decent, he used to suck, but Kabam reworked him like they rework most of the champions and they're actually kind of good. No, I think they did an outstandingly amazing job with Colossus. I think he is crazy powerful right now, largely thanks to his synergies and also his ability to bypass those 20 armor ups and just hit 40k plus medium hits, easily hit specials where each hit does above 50k damage. As we saw, he hits hard enough to take out a Labyrinth of Legends X23. I have that solo on my channel as well, previously posted. So I do genuinely sincerely believe, and I'm kind of trying to back it up as much as I can as well, because he is champion that I routinely go for when I'm struggling with things in Act 6. And again, I use a lot of mutant champions. I actually have increased my mutant roster quite significantly recently, because I do have at this point like 8 rank 5 mutant champions. Them being Archangel, Havoc, Domino, Omega Red, so on and so forth. The only kind of like popular options that I haven't ranked, I guess, is Sunspot and Namor. But Namor I de-ranked, basically sold, and I haven't ranked back up. And Sunspot is great, but still I wouldn't value him as high as I do with Colossus. So all things being considered, yes. Now, I know that you guys, if you have watched this far, are very eager to absolutely destroy me in comment section, right? So before you get into your keyboard warrior mode, why don't you enjoy a little picture of Baby Yoda? If you don't like Baby Yoda and if you still want to leave a nasty comment, well, then I have something for you too. All that being said, I'm done for today, and hopefully catch you guys soon. See ya.